You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you for joining me on this weekend's first Cabral House Call. Looking forward, as always, to answering our community's questions. This should be an exciting show. We have so many great questions. So many questions have been coming in over the past few weeks. So I do look forward to answering those. And as always, I'll get to somewhere between, I would say, 5 and 8 questions today. Hopefully right around there, the higher end of the mark, so we can get more people in. And these will actually be our last questions of 2017. Always exciting as we close one year, close the chapter to one book, and get to open a new one. So as I'm answering these questions today, looking forward to people being able to take that information, run with it, and have their best 2018 ever. I'm going to be harping on that quite a bit for 2018, especially the first month or two. And the reason is, I'll tell you right now, how you start your year is so important. It just makes so much sense that if you want to have your best year yet, that you begin right away as soon as possible, just literally one foot in front of the other. So as I'm making recommendations today, it might be ordering a lab test. It might be just, joining a gym. It might be just buying more organic food, whatever it is. Just take that one step. It doesn't have to be everything. You don't need to do everything all at once, but one step in front of the other. That is the way you are going to eventually reach your goal. That is how we create success in life, one step in front of the other. So let's get right into it today. Alex is up first. Alex is writing, "Hi, Dr. Paul. First of all, I found your knowledge and willingness to share said knowledge so refreshing. Simply put, what you say makes sense. My question is about your Candida protocol. I specifically searched all your podcasts for Candida and haven't found this question addressed, so I'm hoping I'm not wasting your time. I asked for the Candida protocol for Christmas, yes, seriously, and I'm hoping to start it in early January. I'm struggling with the fact that I have 1 to 2 trips booked every month next year for weddings or other miscellaneous reasons. I know you've said an occasional cheat meal, pasta, social glass of wine, but I'm wondering if doing this during the protocol will make it less effective. Should I wait to do it when I have no trips planned for 12 weeks? Just want to get the most benefit possible. Thanks." Okay, Alex, this is a great question. I'll tell you this. I literally will be traveling almost every month in 2018. I know a lot of people travel quite a bit. There is never a perfect time. I'll tell you that right now. Even if you're like, oh, well, in March or April, it looks like I don't have anything planned. Trust me, something will pop up. There is never a good time to start, ever. So what that means is whether you're trying to lose weight, get well, get healthy, run our Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, just start. That's it. All we look for is really the first 21 days to be following the plan of no cheats. That's it. That's what we look for. So try to find a 21-day stretch. Let's say you can't. Let's say you can only find 2 weeks. Good. 2 weeks is better than nothing. I mean, that's the bottom line. It really is. I mean, if you can't find 21 days, you can't find 21 days, but you do your best. So we always say too, if you're going to a wedding, if you're going to a party, you can go out that night and not drink. Like, that is possible. It's possible not to have alcohol with friends. And that's one of the things that we like people to learn is that you don't have to not drink alcohol for the rest of your life, but you can go one weekend without alcohol. And Alex, I'm saying this kind of facetiously. I'm not coming down on you, but you can always just do the soda water, cranberry, splash of lime. That's my drink of choice when I decide not to have alcohol that night. And you can do the same. So find a time where you have 21 days. Then after that, you can do 1 cheat meal per week. You'll do great. You really will. The 1 cheat meal is not going to throw you off. People always say, oh, do I have to restart? No, you don't. You don't at all. Because the nutritional supplements are used in a very specific way, which are helping to eliminate the bacterial overgrowth and the Candida overgrowth. And then as the program's moving through the weeks, you actually start to add in the good probiotics. And then you finish it off with what's called the gut rebuilding protocol, where you're sealing up your gut. So again, there's never a perfect time. You just do it. You just start. You use the supplements. You follow the meal plan. People always want more direction than not. We tell you, again, we have plenty of direction. Just go to stephencabral.com/FAQ. All the directions are right there. We don't want people to get overwhelmed. That's why we don't put in 1,000 directions for the Candida protocol. We tell people, follow the supplements, follow the food shopping guide. don't worry about all the other stuff. Like, that's it. Like, live your life. We've used this 1,000+ times. Honestly, if there was a better protocol to help someone heal from gut-based issues, we'd be doing it. I don't have any stake in this at all. I mean, the majority of the products aren't equilibrium nutrition products. They're just whatever's the best is I use. Whatever works the best, that's what I do. And I'll tell you right now, this is going to work for you. All right, Josie is up next. What is Josie writing in with? Josie says, "Hi, Dr. C. I love your podcast. I listen daily, and I am an annoying voice in my family's ears about Dr. Ball says this." So Josie has 2 questions. My younger sister is 6 months pregnant, and her blood sugar has been high. Her doctor thinks she has gestational diabetes. She eats the standard American diet. Her normal activity level is low, so he suggested maybe some light pregnancy yoga. Her doctor had not given her any suggested diet or even recommended foods to eat or not eat. I haven't heard any podcasts on gestational diabetes, but looked up episode 603, where you gave recommendations for type 2 diabetes, workout, blood sugar support, supplements, 2 cups of vegetables at meals. Would you recommend the same for a prego? Number 2, what would you think about air fryers for pregnant and non-pregnant people? Okay, so a little double whammy question right in there. So here's the thing. I mean, the gestational diabetes will most likely clear up after pregnancy. That doesn't mean that your sister should deal with it for the next 3 months to 3+ months. So what we need to do is really get off of all of the processed grains and sugars and get off of all of the ice cream and dairy, all of those things. That will help tremendously. Do keep in mind that when they do the glucose tolerance test for gestational diabetes, you're typically just drinking a little over 70 grams of pure glucose to check to see what your blood sugar does. That's unlikely that you would ever have a meal like that. Now, I know some people would if it was a sugar-based meal, but keep in mind that's not normal, and you could do your fasting glucose to really see if there is an issue. But I just have such an issue with this. And it's not the woman's fault. I really believe this, because that OBs and like our doctors in general are not telling people that eating all of this processed food, the standard American diet, it hurts the baby. That's the truth. All that inflammation hurts the baby. All of the chemicals in those foods hurts the babies. I've spoken about this many times, but an unborn fetus right now has over 272 toxic chemicals in their blood already. And they're getting it from the mother. Now, again, this is not to scare you, and it's not to say the moms are doing anything wrong. Well, they are, but it's not their fault because they haven't been told. We have to start re-educating the population to let people know that the world we live in is a very toxic place. And we can't just put anything in our body and expect our bodies to deal with it. They deal with it, yes, but in terms of causing issues down the road, I should say, for children and for autoimmune-based issues and for ourselves, for all these weakened immunity-based things. We need to get ourselves healthy, not just to get rid of gestational diabetes, but to improve our health overall. And in terms of air fryers, I'm fine with air fryers. I really am. If we're talking about, so there's different types of air fryers. Are we talking about dehydrators? What exactly are we talking about? Low temperature dehydrators. I'm fine with all of those. I don't really have an issue with it. If you want to make like air baked things, I'm totally fine with that. Of course, we're talking about good tubers and vegetables. All right. So Sherry or Seri is up next. Seri, could be Seri, Ceri. Again, I'm one of the world's worst at pronouncing names, so hopefully I got one of those 3 tries correct. Hi, Dr. Ball. I'm a health coach and have a question about a client. 34-year-old male, has sleep apnea, had 1 surgery for this, history of high cholesterol, fatty liver disease, pre-diabetic, and issues with blood sugar. Been working with him 3 months to improve his diet and lifestyle. He has lost some weight, feeling a little better, but sleep apnea has not changed. Repeated sleep study, but no difference. Energy drops during the day, needs the nap in the afternoon. It's impacting his ability to work long days. I'm unsure if this is something caused by physical blockage or if there are other changes he can make to a diet lifestyle that will help. Love your input. Kind regards, Sherry or Seri or Seri. Okay, so sleep apnea is almost 100% of the time caused by inflammation and biomechanics. So first things we need to do is take care of biomechanics. That's the easiest. Make sure that he's not sleeping on his back. Bottom line, if you sleep on your back and your head tilts backwards, your tongue can tilt into your mouth. It's as simple as really getting someone to sleep on their side. One thing that we do, it's very rudimentary. We have them tape a golf ball to the back of their shirt. We wear a t-shirt to bed, whatever you want. And every time you roll into your back, you'll feel that uncomfortable feeling of a golf ball digging in your back. After about a week or so, you will be sleeping on your side. Put a pillow between your knees, put one under your head, keep yourself in a good, comfortable position. Make sure that your client's sleeping on their side. Okay, that's biomechanics. Number 2, reduce inflammation. Keep working on the diet. Get rid of the dairy. Get rid of the gluten. Without a doubt, I would do that. I'd probably do eggs as well. Get rid of those for 21 to 28 days. If you want to add them back in after that, fine. Do one at a time for 3 days and see if there's any inflammation that kicks back. Oftentimes, you'll see an issue with dairy. That's a big one. Sometimes gluten as well. So that's what I would do. I would absolutely do the 21-day Dr. Ball detox. It's going to help your client lose more weight. It's going to help them dramatically reduce healthy levels of inflammation, blood sugar, liver-based issues. That's what I'm recommending. Of course, if your client's on any medications, then they would have to check with their doctor, just make sure that there's no gallbladder issues, anything like that. So you could check that out. That's what I would recommend. And sleep apnea can always be fixed. Keep in mind that even if there is like a deviated septum, you should still be able to breathe, even if it's through your mouth, which is not ideal, without your tongue going back in your throat, without you having apneas. Just keep that in mind. Work with a lot of people with deviated septums, and they still don't have sleep apnea. Okay, Daniela is up next. She's writing in, I'm a big fan of the podcast and have found the information to be very helpful and interesting. I'm hoping that you and your team can help with an issue I've had for years. I'm constantly clearing my throat, even to the point of not realizing it. I know it's an issue because sometimes my throat feels raw from the throat clearing. I don't have any health issues I'm aware of, so I don't know what else could be causing this strange sensation. Any ideas would be greatly appreciated. Regards, Daniela. Okay, Daniela, it says, let's see. Okay, you've been listening to the podcast. Maybe not some of the previous ones. Definitely recommend this. I just consider, people ask me like, okay, how do I learn more about functional medicine? And I'm not, tooting my own horn, but if you go back and listen to from episode like 100 on of the Cabral concept, 20 minutes a day, you will get what I would consider a very large foundational based functional medicine education. And you'll learn about these things. So if this is something I've answered in the past, of course, I'm happy to answer it again today. So it could be from a food sensitivity. You're eating a food and you're eating a food that is on a daily basis. So think about foods that you eat on a daily basis. Eliminate that one food or two foods for a week. See if you still have that mucus formation, because that could be fried foods. Fried foods do it as well. Dairy foods are notorious for causing more mucus. Even if you're eating that healthy, what you think is healthy, yogurt or kefir or lassi or any of those things that have dairy in them, just be aware that that might be causing mucus in you. You may also have silent reflux, so you don't feel any burning in your throat or esophagus, but you might get some silent reflux, which is causing mucus, which is causing you to try to clear your throat. So check that out as well. Postnasal drip. Postnasal drip is a huge one. You most likely or very well could have some postnasal drip. We don't even feel it, but you have a little bit of mucus dripping from the back of your sinuses down the back of your throat. And then naturally, you're just kind of clearing it over and over and over because, of course, you don't want that mucus and that liquid dripping into your lungs, which, of course, is not good for your lungs. So you can go back to stephencabral.com/podcasts and search postnasal drip, and you will see exactly what I talk about for remedies on postnasal drip. You'll see where I recommend the fire cider or the apple cider vinegar or the ginger tea, all those great things and the extra vitamin C, of course, as well. If it's silent reflux, you can check that out. You could do a food sensitivity test. That's an amazing test as well. Check that out. Okay. Jamie's up next. Jamie's asking, hi, this might be a really dumb question, but I can't find the answer online. When I drink smoothies, I get really, really cold and it takes me hours to get warm again. I love to warm up quickly by getting in my infrared sauna. However, when I'm super cold going into the sauna, I don't sweat much at all. Not even close to the amount I sweat if I'm already warm when I start. For example, if I do sauna after exercise, I sweat a ton. So my question is this, am I still getting the detox, health, longevity benefits of the infrared sauna if I'm so cold that I don't sweat as much during the 30-minute session? Or are the health benefits pretty much solely related to deep sweating? Thank you so much. Okay, here's the good news. The good news is the health benefits are not solely related to the deep sweating. However, you should be sweating, all right? So if you're that cold, you will need longer. You will need a warmer infrared sauna. But do keep in mind the infrared rays penetrate the skin. So it is different, meaning they penetrated down about 3 to 5 millimeters. And so you are getting the cellular-based benefits, but you do need to get a little bit of glow. A lot of people think you need to just be drenched in sweat to get the benefits of an infrared sauna. You do not. You actually don't at all. But you do need to have a little bit of a glow, a little bit of moistness on the skin. So the bigger question is, why are you so cold? So here's my suggestion. I highly recommend you run the thyroid plus adrenal plus hormone test. I would run that as soon as possible to see if there's a hypothyroid issue going on. Without a doubt, I would run that. I would probably run your blood work as well with your PCP and just look at your iron levels, look at all your hemoglobin, look at, just everything going on within your body. But run that thyroid adrenal hormone test for sure. with your smoothie. You can add ginger to your smoothie. You can add cayenne to your smoothie. Those would both be great. You can also drink your smoothie 20 minutes after you make it, meaning just let it warm up a little bit to room temperature. I do that in the winter all the time. I put ginger in my smoothie a lot of the time. I let it warm up to room temp. And the other thing is you can drink your smoothie after your exercise. So you've already warmed up, or you can drink it after your infrared sauna. And after you've already warmed up, you can drink a little bit of your smoothie then. So you can actually make it, do your infrared sauna, get out, sip on your smoothie, you're good to go. So I think that should help you answer that question. All right, Kathy's up next. Kathy wrote in with a monster question. So I'm not going to be able to answer her whole question. And just keep in mind, everyone, that when you're writing in, of course, I want to help you, but I'm not able to diagnose you, nor do I diagnose anyways. But I'm not able to read your blood work over the house calls. That is for private wellness clients. And the reason is that it's just out of ethics. I can't do everything on a 5-minute house call. And I hope you understand that, but that's simply not a possibility. But what I can do is give you big overview of where to get started, what you might be missing, what to look for, and essentially how to get started. All right. So let's help Kathy out. Kathy's writing in, "Hello, Dr. Cabral. No words can explain how thankful I am to have found your podcast and references. Your care and concern for others is a blessing. Going to try to state the facts in order as short as possible. 51-year-old, no medications, full-time speech pathologist in a nursing home, and a weekend server at a restaurant." Okay, so Kathy, obviously a hard worker. And let's see what else we have going on. So you have high cholesterol. You do 30-minute to 60-minute workouts every day. You wrote primary concern is very strange looking stool, sometimes black, sometimes different colored, sometimes fibrous, so not healthy stool at all. Sometimes leg cramping, abnormal bowel movements, which we did talk about. We've got some acid reflux. We have, let's see what else. We've got Candida overgrowth. We've got fatigue halfway through the day. We have not high triglycerides, but very high cholesterol at 350. We have very high LDL at 263. Okay. So let's answer this question. What should we do? Well, we should run an organic acids test to look at this overgrowth in the intestines, and we should also run a stool test. So the organic acids test will show yeast overgrowth and bacterial overgrowth. It will also show mitochondrial function, neurotransmitter waste markers. It will show detoxification, your B vitamins. The stool test will then show Clostridium difficile, so C. diff. If it's there, it will show parasites. It will show E. coli overgrowth. So both of those are great to run for you. That's what I would recommend. And then, of course, if you're able to, then I would run a hair tissue mineral analysis for stress or heavy metals, and I would run a food test, again, if possible. I know some of them can start to add up, but that's what I would recommend if you were in my practice. So that of course, can get you started. And then you'll have a 30-minute call with my health coach if you do one, and a 60-minute call if you do more than one lab test. So that would be great. You'll get my recommendations. If you're not able to afford the organic acids test and stool test, then you could begin right with the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, and then follow that up with the gut rebuilding protocol. That's what I would absolutely recommend. You could also do the Dr. Ball detox before you started that if you chose to, but run the stool test and organic acids test first. So, and the other part is that no matter what you're doing right now, because again, I know you're doing so many great things, you really are. So that's the hard part. So someone like Kathy is doing such an amazing job, right? She works hard. She obviously cares about other people. She's working in a nursing home. She's doing her workouts. She's trying to eat well. But the problem is what she's doing right now is not compatible with her body. And I can say that, because your cholesterol is 350 plus and your LDL is 260 plus. That's twice as high as it should be. So if we have an LDL, which is the oxidative, the bad cholesterol, we'll call it, as twice as high as it should be, we need to take care of that fast. So again, organic acids test is what I recommend first, then stool test, then hair tissue mineral analysis, then food if you're able to do those. Then I'm recommending a 21-day Dr. Ball detox. Then I'm recommending the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol and the gut rebuilding protocol after that, if you can't do anything specific. Then I'm going to recommend just getting on, really Mediterranean-based diet. I don't know what you're doing right now. Hopefully you're not following a keto-based diet or any of these really high meat-based diets, because not compatible with you right now. Maybe in the future, but certainly not with you right now. Check out my previous shows on that. I want to make sure that you get the help that you need. Okay, we are going to keep it at that for today. I think that's enough questions. And I will be back tomorrow, of course, with more questions on the Cabral House Call. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate each and every one of your listens. Please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could help.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.